Hi, I'm Pamela Poole, and I live an amazing life as an artist and an author. Today's amazing because I get to share with you that I finally got in the print copy of my latest new release. It's a devotional called Inspired Artistry, Embracing the Creative Calling. It's a thin little book of about 107 pages, 12 chapters, and at the end of each of those chapters, there are three little questions that I will ask that will help hopefully lead readers to a better discovery of how to use the book. I use an illustration of a palette and a brush and the big picture, which is a painting on an easel, and hopefully even groups like book clubs or Bible study groups. Whoever wants to could use these for a little study discussion type scenario if they are interested in doing that. But the premise of Inspired Artistry is that everyone born has something creative, some sort of creative gift that was endowed into them as being created in God's image from the get-go. Some of them are insecure about it. Some of them don't have the confidence to really use it. They don't think they're very good at something. But the truth is that they really are. And this book tries to encourage them in that. Although I think this book has a lot to say to artists and a lot of ways that people who are not artists, just audiences and viewers, people who enjoy art, can think about art and about the gifting of art and just the hard work and skill that goes into it. I also think that this book encourages anyone who does some sort of crafting, something creative, and I'll dive into helping you understand where I'm at with that. I'm part of a neighborhood craft group, and we're very hands-on. We meet once a month, and when I can get there, when the schedule allows, I really enjoy being around all the different personalities. We come from so many different backgrounds. We have so many different likes and things that we're good at, different skills that we sort of bring to the group. We try new things. I love getting to kind of see the inner workings of creativity that go on in other people's minds when they do things that I don't know how to do. We teach each other and we encourage each other. One of these friends of mine, she's wonderful at quilting. So I have a bag that I bought from her. I also have commissioned a quilted table runner from her that's beautiful. She also has started lately making these baskets. Don't you love the swirl that comes around and the button in there? These are made out of fabric scraps. And so I really love to see what they do with that. But also I want to encourage those of you who maybe you're not in a craft group or around people who help you brainstorm and think of new things, new crafts and new things to try, but also those who know what they're good at and they have found a way to donate out into the community and to charitable groups and other things out of their own empathy and compassion for people that they've never met, but who they want to be a blessing to. Isn't that what art should be used for? Our creativity, it should be used to make the world a better place, to be a blessing to other people, not for what I consider self-expression. And that is what most artists, I think, will try to tell you, that their art comes from self-expression. We're going to get into talking a little bit more about that, about the book when I dive into what some of the lessons are about. But I want to share with you more about individual creativity by letting you know that as a personal example of how people can be a blessing, some of my friends in this craft group that I mentioned donate things like blankets that they have crocheted, crafts that they have made that are useful type things. Some donate to hospitals and things like that. When my grand twins were born, they were born a little over 2 months early and had to be in the intensive care unit. And there were people who had donated little beanies that they made to help babies' heads stay warm. And those were not only a blessing for us medically that the little gifts that they made helped our grand twins stay warm, but also it was just a blessing to see that little spot of color on their head and know that someone cared enough to pour love into each of those little beanies and donate those for babies that they would probably never meet this side of heaven anyway. That's something that I really, really think creativity, that's the heart of it. It's not about some elite group that has all this skill and talent and they do these amazing paintings and sell them and become famous. That's not the heart of inspired creativity. And another personal little story I can share to encourage those who may think that they don't have any talents to give to the world. If you can sew a straight line, you can make these. One of our little preemie grand twins, the little girl, did not go to her earthly home. She never left the preemie unit for that. She went to her heavenly home. And just a few days ago was the anniversary of when we had the homegoing ceremony for her. And someone in my daughter's church was thoughtful enough to know that a grieving family was going to need either tissues or they were going to need handkerchiefs or something. And she had Hello Kitty fabric. She made just, there's two sides to this. They're very soft. She made the family some little Hello Kitty handkerchiefs so that we would have those. I don't know her, and yet the priceless blessing that she gave me, it transcends so many things that we think are important these days. So I encourage you, don't think that just because you made a little square of fabric that something can't be done with that. Think about ways that you can donate or bless other people by giving these away, contributing in some way like that. In that way, this was priceless art. And you can do the same thing. That's kind of what the heart of this book, Inspired Artistry, is about. And if you want to hear, there are a lot of life lessons in it. And one that as I was writing this book, that I explored in another YouTube video is about erasing mistakes. And the life lessons from both the art side, which I do go into, and the life side, which I also use as an illustration to incorporate both those areas that we learn from both our good and bad decisions or our something good or bad someone did to us. All of our experience comes together to form this amazing life that we have. That's why I always start my videos with Pamela Poole, and I live an amazing life as an artist and an author. All the experiences, we don't know what it's going to be from day to day, but they all contribute to who we are. If we make mistakes, then our character is formed by how we handle the consequences of those mistakes and how we forgive and let go and move on, move forward from things that were done that made us unhappy or put us at a disadvantage and that sort of thing. So I hope you'll check out that video. That is a chapter in this book as well. Another one that I'll try to just give you a quick idea of what is in the contents of this book. It is a Christian devotional, so Christians will be the ones who will get the most out of it, but I think that there's something in here for anyone who wants to explore more about their creativity, what it means in their life, and how it can make their life more meaningful. This is one of the sample chapters. I have an illustration. It's a coloring book page I did. That's basically an outline of a painting I did for my first novel cover. That was Paint or Place. And then on the other side, you see the title of this book. This chapter is going to be, You'll Never Paint Another One. And what I mean by saying that is that, yes, you'll paint another painting. That's not what this topic is about at all. In this book, I tell a lot of personal experiences. So it was a little uncomfortable sometimes. These are things I haven't told anyone outside my husband and my son, just my family knows about, except maybe for people who were there when something happened, and they probably don't even remember that it was something memorable to make a life lesson out of. But I do explore that in this particular chapter, and I explored it in my first novel because I think it's very profound that when an artist creates a painting, now I'm not sure this is so much true for a sewing type of craft, but when you approach something like a painting, an artist goes through a healing or changing experience when they do that painting. They will not be the same person at the end of that painting. And it's a lot like a quote that I use in this book from a Roman philosopher, and he said, "A man never steps into the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." And I think that's a profound way to look at the fact that the experiences that we talked about with the erasing lesson are also the experiences that change us, so that when we approach the next painting, on a practical level, we have more skill because we worked that out in another painting. But on another level, we are not the same person emotionally and mentally and maybe faith-wise. We have gone through a transformation that was worked out in the painting that we did. So when I was helping organize an art event, and I was really busy, so I couldn't stop to, kind of consider this or to give anyone, my feedback on it or anything. I was at an art event where one well-meaning artist told another one who was hesitant about selling her work, "Just sell it. You can always paint another one." And I knew in my gut that that was wrong, but I just I had to go on doing what I was doing, and I thought, well, I'm going to shelve that up in my brain, and I'm going to pick that out later on. And on the way home, I thought about it and just kind of worked through it, and I realized that the reason that didn't sound right is because it's not right. Yes, the person may be able to try to copy the painting that they did before, but it will never be the same. I will never be able to paint two paintings exactly alike. First of all, I'm going to have a different technique because I have come farther. I have matured and gotten better at expertise, how I would carry out making that painting. But also, I am not the same person inside as when I came to that painting the first time. And perhaps, I don't know because I didn't explore this, perhaps part of the reason that the hesitant artist didn't want to let go of the painting that she had out for sentimental reasons, perhaps it was because there's a lot more to it than that. You can look at it as a canvas and paint, or you can look at it as a growth experience. And that's what I believe most artists go through. Sometimes it's healing. Art is a powerful healing therapy. But sometimes it's that you were healed and went a different way in a different direction. You became a better person out of something you worked out in that painting. The outcome on any given day for any artist, the outcome of the work that they produce will be different depending on their outlook, what they're bringing to the studio, to the paint and the canvas and the palette on that particular day, and maybe at that particular moment. They will not be the same person. If all went well, they will not be the person that they were when they came to the painting. So things like that are some of the life lessons I mentioned in this book. I do have a foundation and backup for all of the things I bring up in here, so they are not based on just my opinion, unless there might be a place where I just said something is my opinion. But we are all on a growth journey in life. If you're a Christian, you're maturing every time you read your Bible, every time you hear a sermon or a devotion or something. If you are trying to abide with Christ, He is constantly leading you into inspired things because you have asked Him to. You gave him your life and you have asked him to lead your life. So he will be faithful in doing that. Just creating an object is a blessing to the rest of us. Like I can look around this room and see many objects that creative people did that bless me. But inspired artistry, inspired craftsmanship, inspired cooking or metalworking or whatever creative thing you are good at that you're bringing to the world, inspired versions of that will always lead to something higher than what's around you. And it's just true. And so you can explore that in this book if you want to. The reason I created a print version of Inspired Artistry is that some of my friends I have seen amazing work. They journal and they color and they just do beautiful things. At the end of this book, I do put the 3 little illustrations I use to lead you through some end of the chapter discussion questions. I also put in as coloring pages at the back of the book. I also put pages for what I called inspired musings. Some of those pages have a little starter question to get you to thinking. But as you read through this book, some people like to journal and write down what they're thinking right that moment. And so they won't forget it, because sometimes they'll read more and then they've lost the thought they had before. As we get older, unfortunately, that seems to be more the case for me these days. So that is why I came up with a print version. But this book is available at all online booksellers in ebook form. It's only available in print through Amazon and through me. You could contact me. I could get some and get them to you. My websites are, my main artist website is pamelapool.com, and the publishing site is southernskypublishing.com. And so I could be sure to get one of these in your hands if you're interested. I hope that you will take a look online. Usually they have a feature where you can turn pages and thumb through, see what you think about it, and see if you think that maybe you're being led to use your inspired artistry in your own life, whatever talent the Lord has given you, because you have one. Whatever He's given you to do, you can do it, and you should do it. So don't let anything be a hindrance to that. I know one of my friend's mother-in-laws, she has gone to be with the Lord now, but before that, she crocheted 2 little sweaters for my grand twins when they were born, and she was legally blind. Now, how she did that, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me how that is possible, but I crochet and I could never do it. So a handicap is not an excuse, and there's really nothing about your life that is an excuse to keep you from being able to use your inspired creativity, because it was a gift for a reason for you to live out, because it's an attribute of God, your Creator. He was the ultimate in being a creative person. He made the whole world, the whole universe, and He made you, and you're that special. So go out and be salt and light today. I hope that you will have an inspired, wonderful, creative day. Do something that heals your heart and your soul, and maybe even something that you can share as a blessing to someone else. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you later next time. Bye-bye.